Greetings and welcome to Growth Hacking Secrets. I'm your host Mohammed Siddique from Atlanta, Georgia, and the co-author of New Success Secrets, available on Amazon. On this episode, we have a special guest, Jason Van Orden. Jason is the marketing strategist for expert influencers. So if you are already an influencer, you still need to listen to this and watch this. However, if you have a message and you really want to build a product regarding your message, you already have a podcast, you want to build out online courses, Jason can help you to actually repurpose your existing content, build into a product or system, so that way you can cap more ways to monetize your content. Please join me to give a warm welcome to our guest, Jason Van Orden. Jason, welcome.
Yeah. Hi, Siddique. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Jason, let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who you were surrounded with that inspired you to become a marketing strategist for expert influencers?
Yeah, I mean, it was a series of things that happened over time. And just to kind of make it as short of a story as possible, I first learned that I liked marketing back in like around 2000 to 2004 because I had a band. I was in a rock band, and I learned marketing to market my band and help sell my albums, get people to my shows. And then after that, I got into real estate investing for a little while, and a lot of my real estate investing friends would ask me marketing questions, so I started doing marketing consulting to help them. And that eventually led to doing a seminar where I got 25 people into a room to teach them, for one day, just give them lots of marketing knowledge. It was all real estate investors. And I recorded that so that I had a program. That was the first time I kind of figured out, oh, this is amazing. I can make a product out of my own knowledge. And I made $8,000 in that one day of running that workshop. So that was like a big light bulb moment for me, with this idea of packaging up your knowledge in a course. And so then I was looking for ways to sell the course online. And this is about 2005. And I discovered podcasting. And podcasting was really exciting because as a musician and audio guy, I understood the audio. As a marketing guy, I thought, this could really be a significant business and marketing channel. As somebody who loved teaching, I thought that's a great channel for teaching. So I started some podcasts, and in fact, 3 of them. One of those podcasts, Internet Business Mastery, was the first ever podcast about internet business. And we started it in 2005. And then eventually turned into a business teaching entrepreneurs how to grow business online. So for 10 or 12 years, I was focused on that podcast. We got 8 million downloads and sold a lot of our courses. And it was a lot of fun. It was for people just starting out as entrepreneurs. The last 4 or 5 years, I've kind of moved to working with people who are, they have an idea, they have a message, they have an expertise or experience, and they really want to turn that into a business. So now I do consulting and coaching groups around that particular topic. But it was my experience in consulting and creating my own course, and then podcasting, and then working with lots of new entrepreneurs. And I really loved it when those new entrepreneurs, they were driven by, they wanted freedom and make money, but they were also driven by, when they were driven by a message or a story that they really wanted to share with the world. That got me really excited too. And so that's why the last few years I've really focused on making that my what I work with specifically, authors and speakers and academics and people like that who want to get their message out there in a bigger way and create new income streams. So that's kind of the trajectory or the story that brought me to what I'm doing today, all these years later.
Oh, wonderful. So really someone is a heart-centered and impact-driven mindset that you can help them to take their message to create a much bigger impact to large scale.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe that there are a lot of problems in this world. I think we all know that need to be solved. And I think one of the best ways we can solve them is by more people with their unique perspective. Everyone's got in them their story, their perspective, their values, the thing that can give them a certain way of looking at something. And there are people out in the world that could really benefit from someone sharing their expertise and story in a new way. So I think the more people that want to do that and can do it in an effective way, and not just to increase the noise online, but help these experts to reach the exact problems and people that they can help the most, I think that's a fantastic way of making it so that solving a lot of these problems that we want to solve and make the world a better place, right?
Yeah, we all need to pitch in our part on that one. Thank you so much. Jason, what are the top 3 mistakes to avoid when you take on, as a new entrepreneur, they say, oh, I can solve this problem. However, the path they take it, most of the people are not successful. Many people who try to launch something, they fail 90% of the time. So these are the numbers. I don't have to say it. It's not my numbers. It's, small business administration numbers. So what are the top three mistakes to avoid? Because you have worked with so many over the years, to see we can learn from your wisdom.
Yeah. One of the first big mistakes I see people making is that they get really attached to coming up with a product idea or, a specific topic that they want to build their business on. But what they really need to start with is, who is the audience? Who are the particular type of customers that they can help the most? And when you start with that in mind, then everything else in your business is based on understanding as best as you possibly can who those people are, what they're struggling with, what language they use to talk about their goals and their challenges that they're dealing with. And then you do good market research to figure out what's the specific problems or goals that they have that you can help them with. And then from there, you can come up with your messaging and your products and things like that. So that's the first one, is not starting with an audience and doing proper customer discovery is what I call it, and where you're really talking to people and having conversations with them. The second mistake that I see a lot of people make is that they spend too much, they take too long before getting something out in the marketplace. And people talk to me about wanting to, sometimes when people come to work with me, they've been trying for months to get an online course done. And, there's lots of technology to deal with, lots of decisions to make. What media and formats are you going to use? How do you take what's in your head and organize it in a way that makes sense and will make for a really good course? What's the right messaging to sell that course? And weeks and months have gone by and they still don't have something out in the marketplace. So I always encourage people to really, really simplify it. And once you've identified a problem, get a prototype, a pilot out there as quickly as possible. And you can sell it before you even make it. And in fact, that will then really motivate you to get it done. So I encourage people to be very small and specific with that first product that they launch, and to, perhaps you just do it live as a series of Zoom calls or something the first time. And then later you can redo it and package it up as videos and audios or whatever that people can go through by themselves. But find the fastest way to get it out there in the marketplace and see if people will actually buy it. Don't spend weeks and months to make something just to find out that you missed something along the way. So that's a second mistake that I see people making. And then one of the third mistakes that I see quite a bit that can really derail a business is just devaluing what it is that they have to offer, and not really leaning into what makes, what are your strengths, your values, the things that really set you apart. I talked about how I want to see more and more people sharing what they know. And that's a huge opportunity we have now. It does create a lot of noise online when people are just all saying the same thing. And so these days, to really get the attention of the customers and audience that you want to help, you need to not only be relevant to a problem or a challenge that they're working on, but you also need to be resonant. And what by resonant, I mean, they really vibe with who you are. They see your vision, your values, your strengths, and they see that as something that they could really need. So, really identifying what it is about you that you have uniquely to offer the marketplace and to offer the world, and then really build your brand around that, so you do cut through the noise and don't just kind of drown out sounding like everybody else saying similar things.
That's amazing. Jason, you are not as good as you think. You are better, man. So you really
Right.
nailed it. This is a great experience. Definitely. That avoids many people, from setting them apart. Be a genuine and get MVP, minimum viable product, and sell it first before you create it.
Yeah.
That gave you the deadline to create it. You will
Yeah.
achieve it virtually every time, especially because now you have
Yeah.
got the pre-orders. And I work on that model. Every time I sold something, if it's a product course, online, digital product, video course, whatever, even a
Yeah.
coaching program, sold it first before I even created what I'm going to share with them later.
Yeah.
Every time. I
It's a
love it.
great deal.
Yeah. So, Jason, in your years of experience, I'm sure many times you had few things which didn't really work out the way you wanted. We call it a failure story. So, what's your greatest failure story? What did you learn from it, and how did you recover from that?
My greatest, yeah, this one is tough. I mean, there are certainly, I mean, there are times when I've, gone to sell a course and it didn't sell very well, and that can feel like a failure. And that's where I learned along the way that it's really important to do that customer research and be very careful about identifying. We can get an idea about, ooh, this would be so cool to make this, and the market really needs it, and then we get so attached to that idea, right? And we just get very zeroed in on making it and trying to market it and find people to buy it. But if we had again gone and had conversations with several people in the marketplace, and not to ask them things like, hey, what do you think about if I had an online course that taught you how to streamline your finances, not being so directed like that, but just saying, hey, tell me about your biggest problems or challenges right now when it comes to this area, this topic. Tell me, what have you tried before? How did that work for you? What are you still struggling with? Why do you, what are the goals you're trying to reach? Why haven't you been able to reach those goals yet? So asking lots of those open questions, and then stepping back, as the expert who can see all of that and identify, okay, I see now, a piece of that puzzle that I would be able to fix and help with. And so I think a lot of my failures in business, whether it's messaging, whether it's a product or whatever, is just because I haven't done adequate research first. I haven't come from a place of empathy as a marketer, as a salesperson, as a product developer. And then I just end up, going down a path that doesn't work as well as I was hoping it would.
And how did you recover from that?
How do I recover from that? I go and have, once I figured out that was the thing to do, is I just pick myself back up and I go, okay, well, I'm going to go have conversations and I'm going to figure out what it is I need to be making. And then I'll pivot and I'll see, maybe you can take what you were doing and you find out you just need to tweak the messaging a little bit. Maybe you find out that it's like, oh, I kind of got the product offer wrong. And what I really should have been offering was this, this, and this over here. So it's going back and having those conversations and then figuring out which piece of the puzzle do you need to tweak, because often you don't have to scrap it all together. It's just that you were off a little bit, and maybe the promise of the offer, you weren't telling the right story that people would go, oh, this is for me, or maybe you weren't using the right language to really catch their attention and then be able to inform them as to why this might be the best solution for them. And that's another big mistake I see people making in their messaging and their marketing and their sales, is they start talking about the solution much too quickly rather than talking where the person, what's on their mind right now, which is probably, what are the pains or problems they're running into? What are the symptoms that's causing for them? Physical, emotional, mental, and talking about those things, and then starting to talk about, hey, I have a new approach for addressing those things, and then help them understand the solution. It's like we have to meet them where they're at first, and then you can start talking about your solution. So that's another big mistake I've made before, is jumping to talking about my solution just far too quickly.
Yeah, understood. It's just like when you go to a family doctor. If they already know what they're going to prescribe, but they ask tons of questions. They can, what happened? What did you eat? And blah blah blah. All those are describing the pain. Then they go through the test to actually make sure they verify what you're telling is the truth.
Yeah, totally. That's it.
Exactly. This is a doctor. Same way. It works for them. It's good enough for us. So,
yeah, that's a great analogy. I like that a lot, right? Because sometimes, right, we might have a symptom of something that's like a rash or something, and we do our research and we decide it might be this, and then we go see the doctor and we're like, I need help for this. But then the doctor, if they ask questions, they realize, oh, this is actually the problem over here. And so often you need to do that with your market, help them see that maybe they misdiagnosed the problem, and help them see maybe they didn't see, they haven't found the best solution, and this is the best solution now. So yeah, I like that. That's a great analogy for that progression of talking somebody through a customer journey of, getting their attention, but then earning their trust and preparing them, and then inspiring them to want to buy from you by guiding them through each of those steps.
Yeah, definitely. Jason, let's switch the side and let's talk about your success secrets. So promise that you're going to give us your best ones.
Best success secrets. So
here is the question.
Okay.
What are the top 3 success secrets to launch as a new entrepreneur successfully?
Okay. Yeah. So the first one is, I mean, I've kind of touched on these a little bit, is make sure you've identified who the audience is. Like I talked to somebody earlier, and they were saying, I help entrepreneurs and small business owners, and they had like 3 or 4 different descriptions of, and essentially it was like, if you're in business, I can help you. And it was just way too broad, right? And then digging down more, come to find out, it's like, I asked, well, who is it you can actually do your best work with? And then often then the kind of answer I'll get is like, oh, well, I have some of these people working with me and this type of people and also some of these type of people. So then I say, well, who do you do your best work with? Like, who do you want to be working with moving forward? If you could have 100 of just those perfect people, who are they? And so that's one of the first things, is just to get very specific about, I help, so I've discovered authors are great for me to work with for a number of reasons. Authors I can do really good work with. So that's a very specific segment that I focus on quite a bit with my content and my marketing, my sales, and things like that. So that's one of the first earliest things that people they overlook that can get them in trouble. Then the next thing that is a success secret that's really important. I mean, and this is kind of like, some of it's the inverse of what I was already saying before, is like, you got to go and have those conversations with people early on. I sometimes work with people who are brand new in business. I sometimes work with people who are already making 7 figures in business. And I might be working with them on slightly different things. Maybe this person is launching their first course. Maybe this person has a course, but they want to figure out how to sell it better to more people. But for both of those people, very often we're going back to the marketplace and having conversations to just, check in about, has anything shifted? Have we missed anything? How can we make the messaging even stronger? So I know I'm kind of repeating there, something from the mistakes and things, but that customer discovery, it's really important. And any successful startup out there knows the importance of doing that kind of customer discovery before they really start developing something as well. And then I think the third success secret is to just, you gotta look at your business and strategy as a series of experiments. I think often when we think about, oh, well, I'm right here at point A and I want to get to point B, and then we talk about coming up with a strategy or strategic plan, and we think of it as a straight line. It's like, I got to find the straight line that's going to get me there, right? When the truth of the matter is it's a series of hypotheses and experiments that are going to zigzag your way there. So I'm always asking myself, okay, well, what's the next thing I need to do what's most important in my business right now? What do I need more of? Do I need to figure out how to get more leads? Do I need to figure out how to convert more of those leads into customers? Do I need to develop a product to be able to sell to customers? Do I need to elevate my brand as a credible authority? And so whichever of those things that I figure is what I should be focusing on my business, then I just ask myself, well, what's one of the quickest, lowest cost, lowest risk experiments that I could run in that particular area and see if it's going to work. And then if it is working, I can double down on that, right? So, I might decide, hey, I think there's, I think that going out and getting on more podcasts would be a great way to elevate my credibility and get in front of some more, people. So I look at that as an experiment. I go, okay, so how can I try this out and see how it works for me? Maybe I need to maybe I'll spend a month and I'll go and contact 30 people and try to get on, 5 to 10 shows, and then kind of look at what I've done and decide if I want to continue that or if I need to pivot and try something else. Just in the same way I might launch a pilot of a course, right? It's an experiment to just kind of try to move things forward, or it might move things a little bit sideways, but you learn something and then the next experiment moves you forward. So that's a huge success secret too, is to look at it as a series of experiments and not get stuck trying to look for that one perfect answer.
Yeah, no, wonderful, Jason. It's amazing. You know a lot. You are not as good as you think. You are better. So you are sharing very practical, exactly the way it should be done. And many entrepreneurs are missing the piece, customer discovery part. I can tell you for sure because I have a lot of conversations almost every day. They are looking for the next big thing, the next step.
Right.
Oh, once I have this many customers, I will get this one. But they are missing. Can you help me to get that many customers? Come on. How many you have spoken with? They say, No, that's why I'm talking to you. I say they are your customers, not me. Mine. You need to
Right.
have a conversation with them. So it's a great point, reinforcing that concept of customer discovery. So, Jason, how the growth hacking secrets community people are watching this now can support you?
How can they can support me and
Yeah,
connect with me?
yeah,
Well, I mean, I'd love it for them to come check out the website. I think one of the best ways to get a feel for what I do and to support me would be to go and check out my podcast. You can see my website on the screen right there. So if you go to jasonvanorden.com and you click on podcast up in the navigation, you can listen to some episodes and something that's really unique about my show is that every single episode I teach you like a specific framework. So it's like, here are the 3 things to do, or here, try this, and then I give you a downloadable PDF that guides you through it, whether that's a checklist or a worksheet or a script or something like that. So I'm always trying to create these little modular frameworks that you can apply to your business to solve different issues as you're trying to grow and reach your goals. So I think that's a good way to, if you like some of the things we've talked about today, you can go check that out.
yeah. Wonderful, wonderful. Impact: How to Grow a Thought Leadership Brand and Business. That's the podcast. Go check that out. And that starts from just visiting this website, jasonvanorden.com. JASONVANORDEN.com. Jason, we are about to wrap up. I like to have your word about today's the guest experience on the show. What would you say about your today's guest experience on the Growth Hacking Secret Show?
Well, you asked some great questions, and you're a lot of fun to have a chat with. So I'd say it was a fun experience, and I certainly hope that there was some value provided for anyone there that was listening.
Thank you so much for your kind words. Really appreciate it. What would you say as a final word?
As a final word, I would say, believe in the value. If anybody listening to this, believe in the value that you have to offer to the world. And you might already be out there doing some things, and so that's great. But always just keep digging to find those unique ways that you can, support that specific slice of the world and solve some problems that we have out there. With your story, your values, your vision, your perspective, and the way you show up and make people feel and help them, the way you help them think, or whatever it might be that you do really, really well. Create experience for them, whatever that might be. So I just want to put another word in for encouraging anyone who feels called to do so to always strive to do that in a bigger way.
Yeah, do it in a bigger way. Thank you so much, Jason, for sharing your wisdom with us today on the behalf of Growth Hacking Secrets community and our entire team. We really appreciate you. This is Mohammed Siddique signing off from Atlanta, Georgia. Until the next episode, all good wishes.